To my beloved child, pause for just a moment. Set aside whatever is occupying your hands and give me your full attention, because what I am about to tell you is far more important than you realize. This is not an ordinary message that appeared by chance. At this very moment, you are standing much closer to a dangerous path than you may be willing to admit. And if you ignore these words without truly listening, you could face pain that never had to become part of your journey. So stay with me until the very end, because I want to reveal something that has been quietly stealing your peace while you hardly noticed it. Please do not rush through these words or push aside the feeling rising inside your heart. If something within you feels stirred, pay attention to it. That feeling matters. This is not simply another message to read and forget. It is a moment filled with mercy, a chance to recognize what has been happening beneath the surface before life becomes heavier than it already feels. Come closer and listen carefully, not only with your ears, but with your heart. I am not speaking this way because I am angry with you, nor am I trying to frighten or shame you. I speak because my love for you is too great to remain silent while I watch you drift towards something that has the power to hurt you again. You may believe today is just another ordinary day. Another ordinary decision, another burden you have learned to carry. But I see far beyond what is visible in front of you. I see what your eyes cannot yet recognize. And I know the truth behind the feelings you keep trying to dismiss. You have convinced yourself that it is only stress, only exhaustion, only another difficult season that will eventually pass. Yet deep inside you already sense that something is different. Your peace has been disturbed for a reason. That tightness in your chest, the restless thoughts that refuse to leave you, and the uneasy feeling that returns whenever you consider going back to something you already know is not good for you. None of these things are meaningless. They are quiet reminders that your spirit has been trying to warn you. For a long time I have been reaching toward you gently because I know how tired your heart has become. I have watched you carry burdens that no one else fully understands. You have become so familiar with surviving that sometimes you mistake endurance for wisdom. You have learned how to smile while hiding pain, how to keep moving while silently breaking inside, and how to ignore the small warning signs your own heart keeps sending. But today I am asking you not to ignore this one. Slow down for a moment and allow my voice to rise above every distraction surrounding you. You do not need to fear me. I am not here to make you feel guilty or unworthy. I have seen every private battle you have fought when no one else realized how close you were to falling apart. I watched you hold yourself together for others, while your own heart quietly searched for comfort. I know the lonely decisions you made when you felt unseen, and I understand why some doors remain difficult for you to close even though they continue to bring pain. That is exactly why I am speaking to you now, with gentleness, but also with unmistakable clarity. Do not mistake this warning for rejection. I am not trying to take joy away from your life. I am protecting the part of your heart that is still healing beneath the surface. Some wounds appear closed, yet they remain fragile enough to open again with only the smallest touch. Yes, you have grown stronger, but strength does not mean returning to the very thing that once shattered your peace. Real wisdom is not measured by how much pain you can survive. It is measured by what you finally choose never to return to again. I want these words to settle deeply within you, not as harsh rules, but as the loving guidance of someone who desires your safety. Needing a warning does not make you weak. It simply means you are deeply loved. Being reminded to be careful does not mean you are failing. It means your life is precious enough that I refuse to stay silent while danger hides behind some familiar, attractive, or emotionally convincing. I know you have been searching for answers. Time. I know you long for peace and relief from the pressure building inside you. But relief found in the wrong place always carries a hidden cost, and I will not quietly watch you exchange your peace, your purpose, and your clear judgment for temporary comfort. Before you walk any farther down that road, I am reaching out to you once again. Do not harden your heart against this warning. Sit with it. Allow it to slow your steps and reveal the things you have been avoiding. This moment is not about fear. It is about love arriving before regret has the chance to teach the same lesson in a far more painful way. You have wondered why I do not stop you more forcefully when you begin heading in the wrong direction. The answer is simple. Love does not always shout. Sometimes it speaks softly because it desires your trust instead of your fear. I want you to recognize my voice because you know it, not because you felt forced to listen. You have already come farther than you realize. You have healed in places you once believed would remain broken forever. You have gained wisdom through painful experiences that comfort alone could never have taught you. Yet because you have endured so much, another temptation has quietly appeared. The belief that you can safely keep things in your life simply because they did not completely destroy you before. That belief is dangerous, because not everything that fails to ruin you belongs in your future. True peace is found by choosing what draws you closer to truth, purpose, and the person you were created to become. My child, I do not want you to measure your life by asking whether something is capable of destroying you. Instead, ask whether it draws you closer to peace, truth, and the purpose I created you to fulfill. Some things never ruin a life in a single dramatic moment. Instead, they slowly dim the light within you until one day you realize your joy, your clarity, and your strength have quietly faded without you even noticing. There are choices that do not shatter everything overnight. They work much more quietly, gradually draining your wisdom and clouding your judgment over weeks, months, and even years. In the same way, there are people who never openly attack you or try to hurt you in obvious ways. Instead, they keep you trapped in cycles of confusion, guilt, emotional instability, and constant uncertainty until you struggle to remember what genuine peace once felt like before they entered your life. That is why I am speaking to you now, instead of waiting until the damage becomes impossible to ignore. I see the danger that still looks harmless to you. I see the story you keep telling yourself so that returning to old habits feels easier to justify. I see how close you are to excusing something that once wounded your heart simply because you have grown tired of fighting. You are tired of waiting, tired of resisting, and tired of standing between what feels easy and what you already know is right. I understand that exhaustion better than you realize. I have remained beside you through every difficult season, every unanswered question, and every lonely night. I watched you continue praying while doubt whispered in your mind. I watched you keep walking forward even when grief weighed heavily upon your heart. Through every struggle, I never left your side, and I will not leave you now. Today, I am not asking you to become perfect. I am asking you to become honest. Be honest about the things that have disturbed your spirit recently. Be honest about the thoughts, relationships, or habits that keep pulling you backward, even though they have never given you lasting peace. Deep inside, you already recognize that these words are reaching a very personal place within your heart. That is why they feel heavier than ordinary advice. Danger rarely arrives looking frightening. More often it disguises itself as comfort, urgency, nostalgia, attention, or the promise that this time everything will finally be different. When you feel lonely or emotionally drained, those promises become especially convincing. Yet I also know what follows once that temporary excitement disappears. I know the silence that returns. I know the regret that settles into your heart after you realize your spirit had been warning you long before your mind finally accepted the truth. I do not want you trapped in that painful cycle again. I do not want you rebuilding your peace over and over because you continue reopening the same doors I have already shown you were never meant to remain open. So pause before you act. Do not mistake this warning for rejection. What feels uncomfortable today may actually be the very thing protecting your future. I am not taking something precious away from you. I am protecting something precious that is still growing inside you. I am guarding your heart, your purpose, your peace, and the new person you are becoming. Trust me enough to believe that temporary discomfort is far kinder than allowing your soul to carry unnecessary pain for months or years. Now I want you to become especially careful about the voices you allow to influence your heart. Not every voice that brings emotional comfort is leading you toward truth. You live in a world filled with opinions, advice, encouragement, and countless messages competing for your attention. Some voices sound warm, gentle, and understanding. Others make you feel instantly accepted. But not every comforting voice is helping your soul grow. Never confuse comfort with truth. Those two things are not always the same. A voice may sound gentle while quietly leading you toward compromise. It may feel reassuring while slowly drawing you away from wisdom. That is why you must learn to look beyond how words make you feel in the moment and pay attention to what they produce afterward. Ask yourself simple but honest questions. After listening to someone, do you feel more peaceful or more confused? Do you feel stronger in your convictions or more willing to excuse what you already know is wrong? Does that voice encourage you to move closer to truth, or does it simply help you avoid facing it? The answers to those questions reveal far more than pleasant words ever can. Some voices truly help you heal. Others only numb your ability to recognize danger. Some encourage genuine peace, while others simply make compromise easier to tolerate. The enemy of your peace rarely approaches through obvious cruelty. More often, temptation arrives wrapped in kindness, permission, and understanding, offering exactly what your tired heart wants to hear at exactly the moment your resistance feels weakest. That is why I want you to stop being impressed by how pleasant something sounds. Instead, pay close attention to the fruit it produces in your life. A voice may sound calm while quietly leading you away from wisdom. It may make you feel validated today while gradually stealing your peace tomorrow. I know your heart longs for reassurance. I know how deeply you desire someone to understand your loneliness, your disappointment, your frustration, and the hidden burdens you carry every day. That longing is not a weakness. It simply makes you human. But because your heart is tender, you must guard it carefully instead of handing it over to every comforting voice that crosses your path. Never allow emotional relief to become your only standard for deciding what is right. A lie wrapped in kindness remains a lie. Harmful advice spoken gently remains harmful. Someone may understand your pain and still unknowingly lead you away from what is truly good for your life. So slow down before accepting every encouraging word you hear. Bring every influence into the light of truth. Ask whether it strengthens your faith, your character, your wisdom, and your peace. If it leaves your spirit unsettled while only satisfying your emotions for a moment, be careful. Lasting peace never requires you to abandon truth in exchange for temporary comfort. My child, I want you to become wiser about the influences you allow into your heart, because your heart is most vulnerable when it is hurting. Pain has a way of making comforting voices seem trustworthy, even when they quietly pull you away from truth. There is nothing shameful about longing to be understood, but you must never allow that longing to replace discernment. A wounded heart needs protection, not just comfort. When you are carrying rejection, disappointment, uncertainty, or deep exhaustion, you naturally become more open to anyone who promises quick relief. That is often where danger hides. Truth sometimes asks you to wait, to surrender something you love, to admit where you were wrong, or to release what no longer belongs in your life. False comfort usually offers the opposite. It encourages excuses, avoids accountability, and convinces you that temporary relief is more valuable than lasting peace. That is why I want you to examine every influence carefully. Ask yourself whether it leads you toward honesty or simply helps you avoid facing the truth. Does it strengthen your faith, or does it quietly weaken your boundaries? Does it encourage growth, or does it simply make compromise feel acceptable? These questions may seem simple, but they will protect you from countless unnecessary wounds. Do not be impressed simply because something sounds beautiful or emotionally satisfying. A pleasant voice can still carry harmful advice. Someone may know exactly what comforting words to say, while unknowingly leading you away from the path that brings real peace. Even the quiet voice inside your own mind can become misleading when it keeps whispering that one more compromise will not matter, that one more return to an old habit will somehow end differently this time. Be careful with those thoughts. They often arrive gently, making themselves sound reasonable and harmless. They tell you that you deserve relief, that you have already grown stronger, that you can handle what once hurt you without suffering the same consequences again. But wisdom is not proven by returning to old pain. Wisdom is shown by recognizing what should never regain control over your life. Come closer to me instead. Spend time where truth may challenge you before it comforts you. Because lasting freedom always begins with honesty. My voice may correct you, but it will never condemn you. It may ask you to release something precious, but it will also give you the strength to let go. My guidance will never manipulate you, and it will never leave you feeling crushed. Instead, it will gradually settle your spirit while exposing whatever has been quietly stealing your peace. I want you to develop a new habit beginning today. Whenever a voice brings you comfort, do not accept it immediately. Test it first. Ask where it is leading you. Ask whether it makes you stronger in your faith or simply more comfortable in the moment. Ask whether you could honestly bring those words before God with confidence and peace. Those simple questions will become a shield around your heart, protecting you from influences that sound gentle but slowly lead you away from what is right. Remember this well. Truth can be compassionate without becoming weak. Love can be gentle without approving everything you desire. I am not asking you to reject comfort altogether. I am asking you to stop confusing comfort with truth, because they are not always the same. Seek the kind of encouragement that heals your wounds instead of hiding them. And choose the words that strengthen your character instead of merely easing your emotions for a little while. Close the door on voices that make compromise appear reasonable. Walk away from advice that weakens your obedience while flattering your feelings at the same time. Stay close enough to me that my voice becomes familiar, so familiar that even the most convincing imitation can no longer deceive you. The more clearly you recognize truth, the less power deception will have over your life. As you learn to recognize my voice, I also want you to remember that there are many others, searching for the same peace you are discovering. Many people are surrounded by confusion, some longing for words that truly heal instead of merely comforting them for a moment. If this message encourages you, share it with someone who may quietly need hope. Sometimes the smallest act of kindness becomes the turning point in another person's life. Now listen carefully, Tadi, because what I am about to tell you may be one of the hardest lessons for a compassionate heart to accept. Not every person who disturbs your peace is a bad person, Taib. Not everyone who pulls you backward has harmful intentions. Some people genuinely care about you, yet they are still not meant to walk beside you into the next season of your life. For a long time, Tan, you believed that unless someone openly betrayed you or intentionally hurt you, you were obligated to keep giving them access to your heart. Taf, you felt responsible for maintaining every relationship simply because history connected you. But I am inviting you to grow beyond that way of thinking. Safety is not measured only by someone's intentions. It is also measured by the influence their presence has on your spirit over time. Some people sincerely mean well, yet they continue pulling you back into old habits, old fears, and old patterns you have worked hard to leave behind. Others genuinely care for you, but unknowingly keep you tied to an earlier version of yourself. Every conversation leaves you distracted, emotionally drained, or uncertain about the direction you are trying to follow. Their kindness does not erase the effect their influence has on your life. Where I am leading you requires greater clarity, stronger discipline, and deeper peace than some people know how to support. That does not make them evil. It simply means they belonged to a previous chapter of your story, rather than the one now unfolding before you. Learning this truth is not an act of rejection, it is an act of wisdom. You do not need to wait for dramatic betrayal before creating healthy distance. Sometimes the quiet decision to step back is enough. Sometimes obedience simply means allowing certain relationships to fade naturally, instead of forcing them to remain exactly as they have always been. Not every connection is meant to last forever. And releasing someone with grace does not mean you have stopped caring about them. My child, I know your heart better than anyone else ever could. You naturally see the good in people, even when they continue leaving you emotionally exhausted. You remember the kindness they once showed you, you understand the pain they have experienced, and because of your compassion, you often keep the door open long after wisdom is quietly asking you to close it. Compassion is a beautiful gift, but when it is separated from discernment, it can become a burden that slowly drains your peace instead of protecting it. You were never created to carry every relationship into every season of your life. Not everyone who shared your past is meant to share your future. Some people helped shape one chapter of your story, but that does not mean they belong in the chapter I am writing now. Holding on simply because of shared history can keep you from embracing the growth that is waiting ahead. I want you to ask yourself something honestly. What happens to your spirit after spending time with certain people? Do you leave feeling stronger, more peaceful, and more focused on what is right? Or do you find yourself slipping back into old habits, old fears, old compromises, and old ways of thinking that you have been trying so hard to leave behind? Your answer matters more than you may realize. Do not answer out of guilt or loyalty alone. Do not answer because you fear disappointing someone or being misunderstood. Answer from a place of honesty. Some people do not need to completely destroy your life to distract you from your purpose. Sometimes all they need is enough influence to keep you emotionally off balance. A little confusion here, a little discouragement there, and before long, your focus begins to drift away from the direction you were meant to follow. That is why I am asking you to become clear-minded instead of simply kind-hearted. I am not calling you to hate anyone or to judge their worth. I am asking you to recognize that not every relationship is healthy for every season of your life. Loving someone does not always mean giving them unlimited access to your heart, your thoughts, your time, and your future. There is a holy difference between caring for someone and allowing them to continually disturb your peace. You can pray for them while keeping healthy boundaries. You can forgive them without reopening every door they once walked through. You can genuinely wish them well while recognizing that constant closeness no longer helps either of you grow. Your attention is precious. Your emotional energy is precious. The atmosphere surrounding your heart is precious. Stop giving these gifts away as though they have no value. Every conversation, every influence, time, and every relationship shapes the condition of your spirit. Protecting that inner space is not selfish. It is wisdom. Some people make you feel as though you must constantly defend your boundaries. Others quietly encourage you to become less disciplined, less truthful, or less confident in the convictions you have worked so hard to develop. Notice those patterns carefully. They are not accidents. They are signs revealing whether a relationship is strengthening your future or slowly pulling you back toward your past. You do not need dramatic conflict before creating healthy distance. You do not need someone to betray you publicly before deciding that a relationship is no longer helping your spiritual growth. Sometimes wisdom simply looks like speaking less often, sharing less deeply, or allowing conversations to become fewer over time. Not every goodbye requires an argument. Some simply require quiet obedience. Where I am leading you demands greater clarity than constant emotional noise can provide. The purpose ahead of you requires a peaceful heart, a disciplined mind, time, and relationships that encourage your growth rather than distract from it. If I begin gently moving certain people toward the edges of your life, trust that I am making room for something healthier. Not leaving you empty. Do not chase after every connection I am quietly loosening. Do not force closeness where I am creating space. Instead, allow me to become your closest companion. Let my voice become the influence you trust above every other opinion. The more time you spend listening to truth, the easier it becomes to recognize what does not belong in your life anymore. Please understand this clearly. Someone may be a good person and still not be the right companion for your next season. Their goodness does not automatically make their influence healthy for your future. You can continue loving them, praying for them, and wishing them well without allowing their presence to continually disrupt the peace I am building within you. Now I want to draw your attention to something equally important. Much of the pain people experience does not come from obvious danger. It comes from urgency disguised as wisdom. Slow your thoughts for a moment and become still with me, because not every feeling of urgency comes from my guidance. You have experienced moments when everything felt immediate. Someone wanted an answer right away. An opportunity seemed ready to disappear. Your emotions became intense, your heart raced, and your mind convinced you that delaying even for a moment would cause you to lose something important. Because the feeling was so powerful, you assumed it must be leading you toward the right decision. But I want you to understand the difference between genuine guidance and emotional pressure. I do lead my children. I do call them into courageous action when the time is right. Yet I never force them forward through panic, confusion, or overwhelming fear. Even when I call you to move quickly, my peace remains with you. My direction brings clarity, not chaos. If what you are feeling demands that you act before you have prayed, reflected, or found peace, be careful. Pressure often disguises itself as urgency. It whispers that you must respond immediately. Fix everything instantly, reopen old doors, rescue everyone, or explain yourself before taking time to think. That is not how I guide those I love. So when urgency rises inside your heart, to pause before reacting. Step back, Breathe deeply. Bring the situation before me before making any commitment. Real wisdom is never threatened by honest prayer, and what truly belongs in your life will never be lost simply because you chose to seek truth before taking action. My beloved child, when you feel pressured to make an immediate decision, I want you to pause instead of rushing ahead. Not everything that feels urgent is coming from me. Many of the greatest mistakes people make are not born from rebellion, but from haste. They happen because fear becomes louder than wisdom, and pressure is mistaken for purpose. That is why I am asking you to slow your thoughts, quiet your heart, and allow my peace to speak before your emotions take control. Remember this truth carefully. My guidance never depends on panic. I do not force my children into decisions before they have time to pray, reflect, and find peace. Even when I call you towards something important, my direction carries a steady confidence rather than confusion. If you feel overwhelmed, frightened, or pushed into acting before you have sought wisdom, take a step back. Real truth never fears honest prayer. Many of your painful experiences happened because you believed relief had to come immediately. You wanted answers without waiting, certainty without patience, or comfort without surrender. Yet what truly belongs to you will not disappear simply because you chose to pause long enough to seek my direction. If an opportunity cannot survive your prayer, then it was never meant to shape your future in the first place. So when someone demands an instant answer, do not allow their urgency to become your emergency. When fear whispers that you will lose everything unless you act immediately, remember that I am never threatened by your willingness to wait upon me. Pressure can be loud, but loudness does not make it true. My voice remains steady even when the world around you becomes noisy. I want you to become familiar with a different rhythm, the rhythm of peace instead of panic. Before making important decisions, become still. Pray honestly. Allow your emotions to settle before committing yourself. This is not weakness or hesitation, it is wisdom. It is how you protect the future I am preparing for you, from choices made in moments of emotional exhaustion. Anything I have truly prepared for your life can withstand your obedience, your patience, and your prayer. It will never require you to abandon discernment just to keep it alive. If something falls apart because you refuse to rush, let it go peacefully. If someone walks away because you would not compromise your convictions, release them with grace. It is always better to lose what depends upon pressure than to keep what demands the sacrifice of your inner peace. Now I want to speak to you about another truth your heart needs to understand. Right now you are standing in a moment where obedience feels painful. You can clearly see what surrender will cost you today. You cannot yet see the far greater cost that disobedience would eventually bring into your future. That is why letting go feels so difficult. You can already feel the sharp sting of releasing something that has been part of your life for so long. You can imagine the silence that may follow, the empty space left behind, and the sadness of walking away from what once felt familiar and comforting. I know that pain is real. I am not asking you to pretend it does not hurt. I understand how deeply your hopes, your memories, and your emotions became attached to what I am now asking you to release. But listen carefully. The pain of obedience is usually immediate, while the pain of disobedience often unfolds slowly over months and years. Surrender may wound your heart today, but compromise continues reopening that wound again and again. One path brings temporary grief followed by healing. The other brings temporary comfort followed by lasting regret. Do not compare these two kinds of pain based only on what you feel right now. The pain of obedience is visible because it is happening today. The pain of disobedience remains hidden until later. It quietly grows inside repeated mistakes, broken peace, emotional exhaustion, and the painful realization that you ignored the truth your heart already knew. That is why I am asking you to choose the clean pain instead of the complicated one. Choose the honest boundary instead of the easy compromise. Choose the temporary loneliness that follows wisdom instead of the lasting confusion that follows disobedience. The tears you shed while obeying today will eventually become tears of gratitude because you protected the future I was preparing for you. When you choose obedience, healing begins almost immediately. Little by little your thoughts become clearer, your spirit grows stronger, your prayers become lighter. The thing that once seemed impossible to release slowly loses its power over your heart. Peace quietly returns, and with it comes a freedom you could never experience while holding on to what was hurting you. But when you refuse to let go, the opposite pattern often begins. Confusion deepens instead of fading. Attachments grow stronger instead of weaker. The burden becomes heavier instead of lighter. Without realizing it, you slowly trade lasting peace for temporary comfort. And every compromise makes the next one easier. So remember this whenever your heart struggles between what feels easy and what is truly right. The discomfort of obedience always heals with time, while the comfort found in disobedience quietly decays. Choose the path that may wound your emotions today but protects your future tomorrow. I am beside you through every difficult decision. I am not asking you to walk this road alone. My hand remains upon your shoulder, gently leading you toward the peace, freedom, and purpose I have always desired for your life. Trust me enough to keep moving forward. Trust me enough to release what no longer belongs in your future. Trust me enough to believe that every step of obedience is preparing you for something far greater than anything you leave behind. Stay close to me. Guard your heart wisely. Protect your peace carefully. Test every voice, every relationship, every opportunity, and every feeling of urgency against the truth I place within your spirit. When you do, you will no longer be driven by fear, manipulated by pressure, or trapped by old patterns. Instead, you will walk with quiet confidence, steady wisdom, and lasting peace, knowing that I am guiding every faithful step you take.